Hello and welcome to Seder Soul Sailing. You can see I've got the cards laid out here. I've done this twice and for some reason it just keeps screwing up, but I think I got the camera working properly now. So you're gonna have to, I'm gonna lay these out in the future, like so you can see me shuffle and deal and I can explain each card. But like I said, I've recorded this twice and I've been pissing around for about an hour and a half, and I got to go get eggs. I got to go to town. I got to hike down to catch a boat into the village, and I think the egg store closes in about a half hour, 45 minutes. So not good. So anyway, this reading, which I was going to lay out, I did lay it out once, the first time I ever saw it. It's called The Sound of Gold. If you're musicians, you probably have heard about the switch from the note A, went from vibrating at 432 hertz to 440 hertz. And people talk about that, but people really don't seem to know why that happened or when it happened or how it happened. Why is a tough one, because that's only speculation, but we do know when and how it happened. This was a decision made by some of the ruling elite, the archons, in the 1930s. But one of the main people responsible for it was Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's minister of propaganda. He officially instituted the 440 hertz for A, for La, in the musical scale, at 440 hertz in 1939. A very impactful year. He seemed to have an interest in the occult, in astrology, and there was probably a very real reason why so much happened in 1939, which we may never know. But the important thing is the Cabal doesn't want us to think too hard about why this change was made from 432 to 440 hertz. And 432 hertz is considered the sound of gold. It's a exact fraction, it's an integer of the speed of sound. It's also the frequency at which a lot of planets in our solar system, maybe all of them, vibrate at 432 hertz. So there's something kind of special about that sound. And people that have tuned their instruments to 432 hertz say it's a more natural, beautiful, peaceful, calming sound than the 440 hertz of Goebbels in the Nazi regime, that is much more mechanical. It's much more robotic and much more disruptive, much less soothing, much less calm. So make of that what you will. This frequency has been called the sound of gold since before Alexander, the time of Alexander. And there were some experiments done about 100 years ago where they vibrated the frequency 432 hertz into they broadcasted into a vibrating plate covered with sand or some kind of a silica powder or something like that, and it formed pyramid shapes. There's something about the frequency that forms pyramid shapes in sand. These are real experiments. You can look it up. So I guess we'll never know exactly why the Nazis and the other people of the time, but they were a big moving force behind this. Nazis changed the sound of gold into 440 hertz. I do know that I'm trying to get a tuner so I could tune my guitars to 432, but that's another story. The internet doesn't like that when you try to find those tuners either. But let's see what my cards had to say about this, because like I said, we're just speculating on the why. So the first card I laid out for the signifier was perfect. It was so perfect I'm almost embarrassed, because it's the strength. This is the alchemy card. There's a woman wrestling a lion, and she's tamed the lion. She's got the lion in total submission. She's turned it into gold. He's a golden color lion, and that symbolizes using internal alchemy, owning our personal sovereignty, and turning our internal lead into gold. That's the Christ consciousness within us. That's accessing the Christ consciousness within us, and which is interesting because the root, what all this is built out of, is the Page of Cups, and this Page of Cups has this little fish coming out of the cup. That is the birth of Christ consciousness. So that's fitting. So what this means is, what I think this means is enough of us are becoming conscious, becoming aware, and not succumbing to the what the archons, what the simulation, what the the demiurge, or whatever you want to call it, wants for us to control us, and that's in our desires. That's the Five of Wands, and this is cultural conflict. What you've got are people of all different continents fighting for no reason. It's just chaos. You can tell they're dressed different. They have different skin colors. It's a cultural conflict. And the archons, the Illuminati, whatever, the cabal, let's call them the cabal, wants for us is to keep us in state of conflict with one another. They want us divided, because divided we're much easier to control. We're the human slave herd. And as long as we're fighting with each other, we're easy to control and manipulate. And we kind of like that. We get off on it. It's like watching a football game, you know. We enjoy this illusion of separateness. So we enjoy being on Team Blue or Team Red or whatever, you know. We identify with that, and it basically gives our egos a hand job. It gives our egos a reach around, and so we like it. We desire that, but it's what's holding us back. It's what we need to get past, and we can do that. The overall situation is the Two of Cups, and this is a committed union. This is like a official marriage. This is a bonded, committed agreement to form a partnership. And that's how we get through that. That's what we need to do right now. We need to access our Christ consciousness, forget about the cultural conflict that's being fed to us and the fake divisions, because we're all humans. We're all brothers and sisters. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference which Elohim our ancestors worshipped, you know, which Allah or Yahweh or Jehovah. That's bullshit. We're all the same. We're brothers and sisters, so we need to make a union with each other. Humans need to come together, because I'm not sure that these archons, these ruling families, you know, the recent study said there's 19, or there's only one president that's not related. That's not like a second or third cousin from one another. That's Martin Van Buren. The rest of them, from Barack Obama to George Washington to George Bush, both George Bushes, they're all from the same bloodlines. They're all from the same family. Same with the popes. Same with the royal family. I mean, they've really strove to keep their bloodlines pure. Hunter Thompson once wrote a story about West Palm Beach, and he was writing about the Jeffrey Epstein crowd 40 years ago, and he said that they interbreed. They practice incest because they think that they're the only people that are worthy to recreate with their own families. And look at Prince Charles or frickin' Menachem Begin. I mean, look at their pictures. Count the toes on those creatures. I mean, they've. I'm going to guess that they might have a little bit of Stern County syndrome going on. Look that one up. Wikipedia will tell you it's an urban myth, but I'll tell you, for a fact, I've looked in medical textbooks from the 1950s, and it was a real thing back then, not an urban myth. And anyway, it's an inbreeding thing among the Amish in Stearns County, Minnesota. But I mean, let's count the toes on those royal. Look at the Tsar of Russia. The reason he had basically this lunatic pervert, the mad monk Rasputin, was kind of running his household was because he could stop his kid from bleeding. His kid had hemophilia. A lot of the royal family had hemophilia. They were inbred to the point of hemophilia. You know, seriously, look at Charles. I mean, come on. You know, he's cartoon inbred. So anyway, I'm sorry I went off on a tangent there. But yeah. Anyway, I don't think they're quite right. I don't think they're completely human. I think they might be what Dolores Cannon called 4D, four-dimensional creatures. In some ways, they're more clever than us lowly 3D creatures, but they lack the capacity for abstract thought. They lack the ability to carry out the Cartesian, what's his name? The dialectic, the Hegelian dialectic, synthesis. We have a thesis, an idea. We have an antithesis, an opposing idea. We combine the two, see how they interrelate and how they interact, and from that we form a synthesis. That's the new idea. That's abstract thought. And these creatures running the world right now don't have that. That's why when their playbook isn't working, they just do more of the same shit that's not working because they can't think. I mean, they can't come up with new ideas. They're kind of reptilian. They're like the geckos I watch having turf wars on my walls up here in the rainforest. Entertaining, but not what you would call inventive. Anyway, that was a tangent. So that was the overall situation. The gateway, the key to all this is we're going to have to act. This is the Page of Swords. Shit's going to go down. We're looking at an economic collapse. Long story, look into the bond market and you'll see what's really going on behind this whole bullshit government shutdown, what they're trying to hide there, because they're telling us that it's Democrats and Republicans are disagreeing about some healthcare issue. How many of you get actual healthcare from the goddamn government? How many of you can go to the government to pay your medical bills? You go to GoFundMe. You go to bankruptcy court. That's how you pay your medical bills. There's no goddamn healthcare system. It's a grift where they're siphoning off more and more capital through the medical industrial complex and putting it into the offshore bank accounts of the banking cabal, the central banking cabal. So we're going to have to act. So our fears are the being our own prison warden. Okay, let me concentrate here. I might have to cut and do an edit because I've done this 3 times, so I'm not remembering exactly what I said. I'll go to the important ones because everything's interesting, but one of the key things is where we're at right now and the astrological energies and the gateway, which is action. Right now, we're at a point where we've actually got balance right now. We're going through economic chaos, but enough of us have found our center. We've taken ownership of our personal sovereignty that we're able to surf over the chaos. This is the Two of Pentacles. It's a guy kind of juggling a couple of coins on top of a chaotic ocean. and he's balanced over chaos, and we can do that. We just need to keep centered. And what we got, astrological energies, we've got the Six of Pentacles, and that is generosity. So the universe is vibrating. As I said, the planets are vibrating at the frequency of 432 hertz. They're vibrating at the sound of gold. They're sending us energy to get through this, and we need to. The modifying card on that is the Knight of Wands. We need to act on our passion. We need to act with passion to get through this. We need to take care of each other. We need to take our union with each other seriously, our commitment to each other seriously, not to these shitbirds running the banking cabal. We need to act on it, and we might not know exactly what to do. We might have to act impetuously, because that's the Page of Swords, but that's the gateway. But we got to do that to get through this. And our psychological future is the Queen of Cups, and that is, we need to find our inner strength. We need to find balance, but we need to balance that action with our compassion. We need to balance our masculine energy with our feminine energy, and use that Christ consciousness that we've had born in us, that is led to our strength, our balancing, our owning our personal sovereignty. So, like I said, I think I mentioned that the desires here are the Five of Pentacles, or I mean the Five of Wands, and that's for the chaos that they're sowing. There's a trick to getting through that, and that's the Five of Swords. And that is, we can't take cheap victories. And we're going to see that in the modifying card for the final outcome too. This is leaving loose ends. These are two critical warnings in this whole reading. We need to act, and we are going to act. That's in our future. That is fierce, strong action, the Ace of Swords. That's the beginning of the fierce and strong actions that we have the impulse to do. Since I'm here, I'm going to just check to make sure I'm still recording. Yes, I am. Groovy. I finally got this one. Not sure what was happening. But that's the impulse to act, and we're going to have to do it. And we are going to do it. We're going to got this. We're going to make it through this. We're going to get over our fears, which is, being in a prison of our own making. We're going to get over our desires for the conflicts that they've been sowing to keep us divided throughout the Kali Yuga. And we're going to act. But when we do that, we're also going to have to be very conservative and very cautious with our resources, because resources are going to get really tight. When this bond market thing collapses, you aren't going to just be able to go to the store and buy parts for your whatever gadget, or buy a new gadget. Because when the lifeblood of the banking cabal, which is fiat currency, collapses, which is what happens when the bond market fails, the whole world will be Zimbabwe. The whole Western world will be Zimbabwe. When Zimbabwe's bond market collapsed, now you got to pay about 1 million Zimbabwean currency units to get a Coca-Cola. I mean, it's not good. And the whole Western banking cabal is built on the US dollar as the world reserve currency. The BRICS countries are getting away from that. And joining BRICS wouldn't be a bad idea if you got that option. But even then, they're going to be hurt too, because the world is built on the US dollar. It has been since the Bretton Woods Accord in 1933, which was involved, that was when they confiscated gold in the US and set the price of gold at a certain price. And they're gonna have to do something like that again. So we're gonna have a kind of a debt jubilee. It's gonna be chaos. But hang on to what you got. Not. I don't mean useless possessions. I don't mean things that gratify your ego, like your Audi or your BMW, whatever shitbox SUV thing. You know what? That's a piece of crap. A Land Rover's a piece of crap. An Audi's a piece of crap. You know what? Get an old Toyota or something. You know, like a Toyota from the 90s, or something you can keep running and fix. Something pre-computerized. Because we got some hard times coming up. We got a couple of hard years. I mean, there's we're going to see, probably by the time I air this video, I get it edited, it's going to be even more clear to people what's going on. Look at the price of gold. It's gone up almost 100% in this year. And it's hitting record highs every day. Normie economists were freaking out because they thought it was going to hit $4,000 by January. Well, it hit $4,000 yesterday, and it's going up again. It probably when it hits $5,000, when silver hits $50 an ounce, that's $5,000 an ounce. I think then the lid blows off the pressure cooker. That's when the shit gets real. Be careful, take care of one another, and I think the first two of these were much more organized. This one's been chaos, so well, I guess you get what you pay for, right? And it was fun. And the important thing here is we got this, we got the strength, we're owning, enough of us are owning our personal sovereignty that the shitbirds that have been running the goddamn matrix, the illusory world that we live in since Kali Yuga began, they're losing power. That's why they're freaking out. That's why they're fighting amongst each other. Maybe, you know, stand back as much as you can. Stay out of the scrum. Don't, you know, help the Palestinians. Yes, do what you can. Don't get angry about it. Don't feed them louche. Don't feed them your fear and your anger. Just love the people who are being hurt. When Israel's going to collapse, I guarantee it. Israel's I'm going to call it. I can't call it a nation state because it's really an illegal occupation of Palestine based on some bullshit letter that the Lord of the Exchequer, Lord Balfour, wrote to the patriarch of the Rothschild family, like 1917 or 18 or some damn thing, and giving him a country he didn't even own. Well, he kind of sold it to him. I just found out that the Rothschilds actually paid him for the Balfour Declaration, but it's you know, it's not good. It's genocide, not good. But it can make us angry, and you're justified feeling angry when you see the horror. But don't let them draw the emotion out of you. Just do what you can to help people and stand back. Stay out of the scrum. Love each other, help each other, take care of yourselves, take care of your family, and we got this. We can get through this. Get through the next couple of years, and I think things will start to get better. I think by about 5 years down the road, I think that the whole the Illuminati, whatever you want, what do we call them, the cabal, is going to be falling apart so much that it won't be a thing anymore. And we'll get there. We just got to help each other get there, and let's love each other. Thank you for watching. Love you all, and love each other. Talk to you later.